Imagine spending a fortune on a car hailed as the future of its era, a model that just brought home a prestigious award or proudly wore the badge of an iconic luxury brand, only for it to morph after just a few years of ownership into a living nightmare of stalling, rust, and endless repair bills. So, what exactly turns a car from a pinnacle of high expectations, positioned as an outright icon, into an incredibly expensive lesson? Today we take a look back at 11 cars from the 1980s that left American buyers the most deeply disappointed, not because they lacked a great concept, but because they simply couldn't live up to the very hype they created. 1. 1983 to 1987 Renault Alliance. In 1983, the Renault Alliance took the US market by storm when it was honored with the prestigious Motor Trend Car of the Year award. This was the brainchild of an ambitious joint venture between AMC and Renault. AMC despaired for a compact car with the kind of import quality they couldn't develop on their own, while Renault wanted a stepping stone to open wide the doors to the American market. At launch, the Alliance made a highly compelling case. It boasted a modern design, optimized specifications, and sharp driving dynamics in automotive press tests. However, the tragedy began once the car entered real-world ownership. After just a few years of use, the Alliance exposed its abysmal durability, completely collapsing under the weight of buyer expectations. The car was severely ravaged by rust in its structural core. Worse yet, a chronic throttle body flaw caused the car to stall unexpectedly, thrusting drivers into hazardous situations on the highway. Consumer Reports consistently ranked the Alliance among the least reliable cars in America for years on end. The vast chasm between its launch day award glory and the deeply disappointing ownership reality of the mid-1980s turned the Renault Alliance into an expensive lesson. The car stands as definitive proof that a flashy media crown is never enough to mask a fragile mechanical foundation. 2. 1980 to 1989 Alfa Romeo Spider. The Alfa Romeo Spider wasn't a bad car in an absolute sense, but rather a model entirely ill-suited to the context of the 1980s American market. Sold through the domestic dealer network, the Spider easily captivated buyers with its seductive, distinctly Italian styling. However, American consumers expected the car to offer the straightforward operation, reliability, and low-maintenance care of a mainstream vehicle. This is where the disconnect began. To comply with stringent U.S. emission standards, the fuel injection system underwent complex modifications, demanding highly specialized maintenance expertise. Chronic gremlins like rough cold starts, an erratic idle, and hesitant throttle response turned routine upkeep into a living nightmare for mainstream repair shops. On top of that, electrical issues piled up over a time, and severe rust on the floor pans quickly eroded the car's real-world value. The Spider was only truly fit for those who intimately understood the quirks of classic Italian machinery, accepting ownership as a continuous process of negotiation with the car. But for buyers who simply wanted a gorgeous, fun daily driver, the Spider became a glaring mismatch between intense emotional allure and a deeply troublesome ownership reality. 3. 1981 to 1983 DeLorean DMC-12. The DeLorean DMC-12 possessed an image that was virtually unrivaled, thanks to its stainless steel body and proud pair of gull-wing doors. The car looked like a machine from the future, promising an explosive sports car experience. Yet, the tragedy of the DMC-12 lay in the massive chasm between what it represented and the reality it delivered to buyers. Beneath that impressive steel skin lay a lackluster 2.85-liter PRV V6 engine, pushing out a meager 130 horsepower in the US version. A 0 to 60 miles per hour time of nearly 10 seconds dragged its performance down to the level of a mundane family sedan. The gull-wing doors, while striking, required substantial overhead clearance to open completely, causing severe inconvenience in low-ceiling parking environments. Worse yet, build quality at the Dunmurry plant was notoriously inconsistent. Issues like crude panel gaps, misaligned body panels, and a poorly finished interior made the steep price tag completely unjustifiable. The DMC-12 failed because it was sold primarily on a visual illusion, while the engineering, performance, and build quality simply weren't there to back up that image. 4. 1977 to 1985 Oldsmobile Diesel. The Oldsmobile Diesel didn't fail because diesel technology itself was inherently flawed. but because of a rushed and ill-conceived execution by the automaker. Under the pressure of the energy crisis, Oldsmobile converted its 350 cubic-inch gas V8 engine block into a diesel engine to cut costs. However, they failed to make the necessary core engineering changes to withstand the extreme pressures and high compression ratios of the diesel cycle. The result was a cascade of mechanical disasters. Head bolt failures were widespread, causing the cylinder heads to warp, which led to the mixing of oil and coolant, and caused extremely severe internal damage. Worse yet, this engine was highly sensitive to water contamination in the diesel fuel, a very real issue within the US gas station infrastructure at the time. Customers were completely unprepared for the rigorous maintenance requirements, while the dealer network had not yet been trained to handle large-scale diesel servicing. Repair costs were so exorbitant that they approached the residual value of the car, turning what was supposed to be an economical solution into a massive financial burden. The damage caused by the Oldsmobile diesel went far beyond individual losses. It planted deep-seated prejudices, sharply decimating the trust of American consumers in diesel-powered passenger cars for decades to come. 5. 1985 to 1992. Yugo GV. The Yugo GV wasn't purchased by driving enthusiasts, but rather by buyers who simply needed the cheapest transportation possible. Imported into the US in 1985 with a price tag of $3,990, the Yugo became the cheapest new car in America. This price point struck a chord with those who had the fewest financial options, turning the car's failure into a genuine tragedy rather than just a media punchline. Assembled at the Zastava plant in Yugoslavia and based on a Fiat platform from 1971, the Yugo's quality varied wildly from one vehicle to the next. Numerous mechanical and assembly defects were apparent right at delivery, especially an erratic electrical system that was notoriously difficult to fix permanently. Ironically, the low price tag misled buyers into believing the car would be cheap to run, but it actually required rigorous maintenance. When political unrest erupted in Yugoslavia in the late 1980s, the disrupted supply chain crippled the availability of spare parts. The Yugo GV wasn't just a terrible car due to poor quality. It failed because it sold a false promise to the demographic least capable of weathering financial risk. They scraped together what they had to secure a reliable means of livelihood, only to receive a machine that spent most of its time broken down and sitting idle. 6. 1982 to 1989 Chevrolet Cavalier. In the early 1980s, the J-body-based Chevrolet Cavalier was launched by GM to go head-to-head in the affordable compact segment, where the Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla were setting a new gold standard for reliability and build quality. Instead of creating a breakthrough product to compete on a level playing field, GM chose to rely on the Chevrolet badge and brand loyalty to retain their customers. This gamble was soon tested by a harsh reality. For most of its production years in this decade, Consumer Reports consistently rated the Cavalier below average in reliability. Inconsistent build quality turned the ownership experience into a gamble, ranging from barely acceptable to frustrating minor breakdowns. Despite achieving massive sales, the Cavalier's commercial success actually reflected the strength of the brand and the legacy buying habits of Americans far more than its actual quality. The car became a prime example of a best-selling mainstream vehicle that rarely inspired strong confidence among its users. Loyalty to a time-honored logo ultimately failed to conceal the massive void in product quality. 7. 1984 to 1986 Pontiac Fiero. The Pontiac Fiero was an ambitious effort by GM to redefine the affordable two-seater sports car segment amidst the tight economic conditions of the 1980s. The core concept of the Fiero was highly commendable, a compact, distinctive coupe featuring a mid-engine layout that was exceedingly rare among mainstream American cars of that era. Yet, the tragedy of the Fiero lay in its rushed and hazardous execution during the first 3 years of production. Early Fieros frequently suffered from engine bay fires with a severity that forced the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to launch an investigation. The root cause stemmed from connecting rod failures in the 2.5-liter Iron Duke four-cylinder engine, which led to oil leaking directly onto hot components within the cramped engine bay. GM ultimately had to recall approximately 260,000 vehicles to address this disaster. Although the company subsequently implemented thorough overhauls to the engine bay and platform, making later Fiero models significantly more reliable, The stigma from the 1984 to 1986 fires permanently incinerated consumer confidence. A bold, high-potential sports car concept was ultimately choked out by a fatal oversight in mechanical quality control. 8. 1980 to 1985 Chevrolet Citation. The Chevrolet Citation was once a major source of pride for GM when it won the prestigious 1980 Motor Trend Car of the Year award. Developed on the front-wheel drive X-body platform, the Citation was GM's definitive response to the influx of imported Japanese compacts, proving that Americans were fully capable of making compact, modern, and competitive cars. Yet, the deep contradiction between the initial praise from the automotive press and the brutal ownership reality faced by everyday drivers turned it into an enduring heartbreak. The Citation's greatest tragedy lay in its front disc brakes. Under hard braking, the vehicle had a dangerous tendency to pull violently to one side, causing a severe loss of control. This hazardous engineering flaw triggered a relentless wave of complaints, forcing the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to open a comprehensive investigation. As a result, GM was humiliated into launching a series of massive recall campaigns for hundreds of thousands of cars to fix the brakes, fuel system, and engine. Faced with such a grim reality, Consumer Reports flatly retracted its recommendation for the model. 9. 1984 to 1994 Ford Tempo. The Ford Tempo spent over a decade on the market carrying the promise of a reliable American compact car. Upon its debut in 1984, the Tempo quickly achieved great success thanks to its modern and groundbreaking aerodynamic design. The car sold in massive numbers, but the real-world user experience was far more complicated. The car didn't cause an immediate major disaster, but it was also never good enough to be confidently recommended. Hidden beneath its trendy exterior was an outdated ATX automatic transmission, the root source of countless mechanical complaints throughout its production lifecycle. Instead of tackling the issue comprehensively from the start, Ford chose to implement incremental improvements year after year. Coupled with inconsistent build quality and severe underbody rust in cold weather regions that used road salt, the Tempo gradually lost the trust of its customers. Although later Tempo model years were more reliable, it only further highlighted the raw deal faced by early buyers. The problem with the Tempo wasn't a catastrophic collapse, but rather the quiet disappointment of a high-volume, mainstream car that rarely earned the true trust of its owners. 10. 1982 to 1988 Cadillac Cimarron. The Cadillac Cimarron is remembered not just as a poor-quality car, but as a fatal stain on brand strategy. It exposed the misalignment of Cadillac management when they were willing to trade a long-standing reputation to chase short-term profits. In essence, the Cimarron was an old wine in a new bottle deception. The car shared the exact same J-body platform, chassis, and even the lackluster 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine with the budget-friendly Chevrolet Cavalier. The biggest differences were merely a few leather seat inserts, some upgraded trim pieces, and most importantly, the Cadillac crest slapped on the front end. With those superficial changes, Cadillac casually slapped a price tag of up to $12,000 on the Cimarron, double the cost of a standard Cavalier at the time. Buyers received a car with economy-class reliability, but had to shoulder an upper-class price tag. Road and Track magazine once described the Cimarron as a massive disappointment when pitted against luxury rivals from Europe. Automotive critics viewed this as a textbook example of brand dilution, and even Cadillac management itself later had to admit the Cimarron was a strategic blunder. This car rightfully stands near the top of the list because it didn't just hurt customers' wallets, but directly tarnished the image of one of the most prestigious icons in American automotive history. 11. 1987 to 1991 Sterling 825. On paper, the Sterling 825 possessed immense potential, sharing the robust foundation of the Honda legend. The car was developed by the Rover Group and distributed under the Sterling brand in the U.S. market. The combination of Japanese engineering and British luxury was expected to create a formidable new force. Instead, the reality produced one of the worst reliability track records in the premium segment of its era. Consumer Reports consistently ranked the Sterling 825 at the absolute bottom of its class for years on end. Electrical gremlins were widespread, persistent, and virtually impossible to permanently resolve. Worse yet, a razor-thin dealer network made troubleshooting a complete dead end. Customers paid premium prices only to be saddled with headaches typically associated with low-quality experiments. Sterling's bitter withdrawal from the US market in 1991 was an inevitable conclusion. The Sterling 825 became a painful lesson in taking a fundamentally excellent platform and turning it into a product with abysmal reliability at a sky-high price. What these 11 cars have in common isn't simply that they were bad, but that they failed to keep their promise to buyers. Whether they were victims of half-baked engineering like the Fiero and DeLorean, or a rushed corporate strategy like the Cimarron, they all prove a major lesson of the 1980s. A car can win awards, it can sell well, but if it suffers from electrical gremlins, rust, or engine fires, history will remember it in a completely different way. The era of flashy marketing slogans had to give way to the reality of build quality. In your opinion, which car deserves the most criticism? If you could save the reputation of just one name, would you pick the Fiero, the DeLorean, or something else? Let us know in the comments below, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next expensive lessons in automotive history.